Yes, the empty room. My name is Scott, and I am the host of the Empty Room podcast. And today's pilot edition of the Empty Room, we're going to try and figure out if this is worth doing.
Empty room, empty room, the voiceless crew, and the face of the moon. The empty room, nothing is in it, everything is there. Endless hell that I know will blaze up from the beach, that unsteady case. It tempts me to fly, so I take up the rail. No one can make it, but I don't think I will fail. Empty room, the voiceless crew at the face of the moon. The empty room, nothing is in it, everything is there.
Yeah, the Empty Room podcast. Welcome to that thing I just said. My name is Scott. This is my podcast, and I'm very excited that you are listening in today. With me, as per usual, is going to be Eric, and this is the Empty Room podcast. Eric, welcome to our first one.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So, what is the Empty Room podcast? Well, it's a podcast that basically when Eric and I got together and thought of something we wanted to do with our time, we figured, hey, let's do a podcast and let's make it sort of like a big four situation. We'll talk about news and politics. We'll talk about sports. We'll talk about entertainment. And we'll maybe even talk about religion. And so here we are. We're sitting in our chairs. We have the microphones in our face. The earphones don't work, but whatever. We're rolling. And so, Eric, what do you want to talk about?
I think we should start with the news.
The
I
news?
think that's a good idea.
Oh, not the news. The news is terrible. It's terrible out there.
Well, it's always terrible. It's the news.
Yes, it is. And the news today, just straight out of the AP, Drudge Report, Fox News, whatever you listen to, is that unfortunately a Malaysian airliner was shot down over the Ukraine with a missile. That's bad news.
That is bad news. That's never a good news situation. It's always bad.
Yeah, and
you
then
never want that to happen. Never.
no, it's bad news. And then you can shift your gaze to the United States border, where hundreds of thousands of people are crossing, and a lot of them are children. That's bad news too.
No, it's bad news on both sides, really. I mean, you got hundreds of thousands of destitute kids trying to get a better life. Then you have the other side, which is they're just crossing the border illegally, and that's not good.
Regardless of why they're crossing, we're not able to handle all that many people,
No, we're not.
and it's really a shame. But that's bad news.
Yes.
Very bad. And then you can talk about how much debt the country's in, and that's somewhere north of 17 trillion. So, I mean, it's like we talked about earlier, Eric. The news is kind of a bummer. Why do we want to start off with that?
Well, I just figured that we would start low and work our way up.
Aim high at the end.
Well, it's basically you start at rock bottom. There's nowhere to go but up.
That's a valid point. valid point. And of course, the lead story is the Ukrainian situation where the airliner was shot down from Malaysia, and unfortunately, 300 souls lost their lives. We don't know if it's, there's been rumor that it was from a Russian missile lock or if there was something else going on. But either way, it's a terrible tragedy, and we still got problems with the border, and we still got we owe a lot of money all over town, kind of like Bunny Lebowski.
We have a lot of problems. It's a lot of problems. That's all you can really say about it, and there doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel so far. But hopefully we'll get there.
Well, there's always hope. And that's why sports is probably a better idea right now, because in sports there's hope, because once the season ends, a team rebuilds, you put the pieces back together, and then you have hope until the second week of that season
when everything falls apart.
When you're now down 0-14, and that is a problem. However, that's not a problem for New England in a lot of cases. We have our New England Patriots.
Oh yeah, the Patriots I guess practices are set to start in the next few weeks or so.
It's true.
So that'll be fun.
They still have Tom Brady.
Yes, Tom Brady, an aging Tom Brady, but Tom Brady nonetheless. Still as good as he ever was, hopefully. Yeah, and we have a good core defense coming in. We got Darrelle Revis. Revis Island is now in New England. So
the best corner we've had in a long, long time.
Oh, a long, long time, yeah.
I mean, just a couple seasons ago, I was getting phone calls to play corner, and I had to turn them down. I just said, look, I don't have the time.
You don't have the knees for it either.
Yeah, the knees are broken too, but why they're calling me, that's the point.
I know, it's just not a good situation. But
Celtics call me too.
the Celtics.
Same situation. I'm like, look, the knees are shot. It wasn't that good to begin with. Leave me alone. But, when you're in a situation where you've made errors in judgment on your roster, you seem to call Scott. And that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, you seem to be the go-to in terms of mistakes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I won't play second base either. I don't care what you do. Don't call me, Red Sox. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, they're fine. They're fine at second base. They don't need a second baseman. I mean, he's not.
You need a shortstop.
You need a shortstop. That's what you need. You need a shortstop. Stephen Drew is not doing anything worth anything, really. And you have a shortstop playing third base who no longer can hit the ball.
What happened there? Why is Bogart struggling so much?
I don't know. I think in all likelihood it's just that pitchers have seen what he can do over the first couple months of the season. Now they changed up their game, and he has to do something to step up his game to counter their counters, and then
it's a lot of countering.
It's a lot of countering. It's counters and double counters and triple counters and yeah,
they're playing baseball. They're not playing Risk. They're playing baseball. There's nothing. There's not that many counters in baseball that I know of. But then again, they just want me to play shortstop.
That's true. They want you to play shortstop or center field or something. I don't know.
I could play the position that gives the player sunflower seeds. I'm good at that.
You can be the bat boy.
Who didn't want to be the bat boy?
That's true. I wanted to be the bat boy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, let's go one by one. Have the Celtics.
I don't understand what the Celtics are doing, Eric. They have a ton of first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
And they're re-signing players that I don't like.
You don't like Avery Bradley?
Avery's a good baller. I mean, he's got some things that I like. However, he's pretty one-dimensional in my opinion. He's a defender who can score going to the rim.
Yeah.
His shooting is like mine, spotty. At best. And, he's not a point guard. He's kind of that tweener, too, that, doesn't really provide something excellent over here or something excellent over here. It's kind of like, well, I'm kind of good. But they're going to ask him to play the point, especially if they trade Rondo.
No, they're not going to ask him to play the point. He's going to be the two. He's going to be the two.
They will at some point. I mean, Smart will be there for the first part of it, but at some point, he's going to have to play the point, and that's where everyone licks their chops and goes, all right, we're going to get 3 turnovers here and a couple fast breaks.
I don't really see that happening all that much. I mean, they're going to suck. There's no way around it. I mean, the Kevin Love thing seems to not be happening.
Looks like LeBron wants him.
Yeah, LeBron wants... Oh, man, LeBron.
It's kind of a tragedy that LeBron controls the whole NBA. Don't
I
you
know.
think?
It's really just a bad situation. And everyone was taken in by this whole Sports Illustrated essay that when he decided to return to Cleveland. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a well thought out thing. It was, inspiring. I read it. It was good.
It was a little
crap.
It was a
but
little
good.
too good.
It was a little too good.
Yeah.
He said all the right things, and he's made some mistakes, and he's learned from it. Blah 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 blah. And
He hasn't learned anything.
no, he hasn't learned anything.
In fact, what he's learned is that I can control the entire league. And quite frankly, I don't think he's good enough to deserve that type of treatment. Is he Michael Jordan? No, he's not Michael Jordan.
No.
In fact, I think we should do a bit every week that says, here is a player that's better than LeBron James. Michael Jordan, number one.
well, Michael Jordan. I mean, okay, are we talking about all time, or are we talking about now?
All time.
Oh, all time.
Yeah.
We can go on for days.
We could go on for days. There's a lot of players, and Mike will be the first. Why is Michael Jordan better than LeBron? Okay,
Because-
let's talk rings. Let's talk defense. Let's talk scoring ability. Let's talk all those things. Michael's got him beat.
Yeah, and it goes without saying that he's probably the greatest of all time.
Yes.
But as for now, he's probably the best player in the game.
Come on.
He is. He's the best pound for pound best player in the game.
No, he's not,
Yes, he is.
Eric. No, see, you have even drank the LeBron James Kool-Aid, dude.
No, I haven't.
You
No, I haven't.
you believe
No,
there's no. All right, let's talk first.
okay.
First guy that's better than LeBron James. Ready?
Don't say Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Don't
Absolutely.
say
Tim
Tim
Duncan is a man among boys still at this age.
Oh,
level.
he's incredible. He's an absolutely incredible player. He's
Better
player.
player.
He's not a better player.
Better player.
He's not an impactful player.
Sure he is. Are you?
He's
what?
not anymore. Not anymore.
I
I'm sorry,
think you're
not
smoking
anymore.
crack. This is ridiculous. Tim Duncan is the best player in the NBA, bar none.
No, he's
Oh,
not the best
by
player
far.
in the NBA.
By far.
No, he's not. He's just not.
He is.
LeBron is the best player in the NBA.
No.
As much as I hate to admit it, LeBron is the best player.
But you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
LeBron is not the best player. Actually, Kevin Durant, way better basketball player than LeBron James. Way better. He is.
I don't see it.
I like Kevin Love. Kevin Love's better than
No,
LeBron.
I'm sorry.
Kevin Love is better
as
than
much
LeBron
as I
James.
wanted to see him in a Celtics uniform, Kevin Love is not better than LeBron James.
All right. Maybe you're right about that. Maybe you're right. But maybe you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. No, what it comes down to is this: LeBron did what he did in Miami. He got his 2 championships. He found out the hard way that the team of the Miami Heat is not nearly as good as he thought it was.
Yeah, but what was the key in getting those championships? Think about this for a second. Who was the guy that really put him over the top? It wasn't Bosh. It wasn't Dwayne Wade. It wasn't Udonis Haslem. It wasn't the Birdman. Who was the guy that really put him over the top?
Joey Crawford.
That's a great answer. All right, you're right about that. But I want to know the basketball player, the one that actually wears a real jersey, not Joey Crawford.
It's Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, that's right.
Ray Allen.
Jesus Shuttleworth.
Ray Allen sunk a lucky 3.
He doesn't have a ring unless Ray Allen shows up. Full stop.
Nah, I don't know about
Absolutely.
that. I don't know about that. He
Absolutely.
certainly helped. He certainly helped.
Ray Allen is one of the best basketball minds left in the game.
Yeah,
He's one
I
of the few
agree with
guys
that.
that knows
I
how
agree
to
with
play the game, along with Tim Duncan. And just remember, they had that big 3 thing. They had that big 3 thing a long season before.
Oh yeah, I know it.
And he didn't win anything. He lost in the semis? Or the
No,
finals?
He lost in the
Finals.
He went, he went to the finals 4 straight years and won 2.
And didn't win anything without Ray Allen.
He also lost with Ray Allen.
Yeah, but that last season, San Antonio was out for blood at that point.
That's true. And San Antonio was
San
a team
Antonio
that
should
could
have
not be
beat-
stopped. I mean, it was a beautiful thing to see.
The Spurs should have won prior to that, too.
True.
The year before.
No, I actually agree with that. They're a better all around team. It's just that LeBron's the best player.
No.
He's the best singular player. It's true.
No,
That's just the way it is.
no. He's the best
No.
at just driving to the lane and trying to dunk on people.
That's not true.
That is true. That's all he does.
That's not true.
Did you? The game.
There's a lot of what he does. But
I remember the game where San Antonio should have won.
yeah.
Game 6, I believe it is. Should have been over.
Yeah.
Okay. LeBron attacked the rim over and over again, got his 35. But when it mattered, the Spurs were still up. They gave LeBron a big three, and he bricked it. I mean, that ball hit the backboard harder than a car colliding with another car. It shattered the backboard. In fact, they had to stop the game. They had to stop the game, put a new backboard in, and while time froze to actually put that backboard back, Ray Allen grabbed the ball, popped the three. And I remember hanging out with Kyle and his friends, and his friends bounced up and down going, "Yay, the Spurs are going to win." I'm like, "Dude, there's 10 seconds. Shut up." And 10 seconds was enough for Ray Allen to stop time, take the ball, and shoot three and win. So, Eddie LeBron, that's LeBron putting up a brick.
Yeah, all right, fine. Look, I'm no LeBron fan. I never have been. Except when he went up against the Lakers in what was his first year?
Was this first?
With Cleveland?
Might have been the second year. Might have been the second year.
That was the only time I was ever a fan because I hate Kobe much more than I hate.
But
LeBron.
Kobe's a better basketball player than LeBron is.
Not anymore.
No, well, Kobe's...
I'm talking about right now. Right now.
Tim Duncan.
No. No, he's not.
Kevin Durant.
No, neither is he. Even though he was the MVP this year, deservedly so. He's not the better player.
He is the better player. He actually knows how to play basketball.
What?
Durant.
Sorry, I got distracted. What?
Durant is a better player because he actually knows how to play basketball.
LeBron knows how to play basketball too.
Does he though?
Sure, he does.
No, he just gets the ball, dribbles, and attacks the rim.
That's not
there's
true.
There's passing involved. There's like teamwork. There's strategy.
Yeah.
There's not giving up when things aren't going your way. You know, all those things that like real basketball players have.
All right, fine.
And the Celtics still stink. So
yeah, the Celtics still stink. In all likelihood, Rajon Rondo is going to get traded.
Well, I think it's a good move, mainly
Yes,
because you don't have the pieces to really work with him, and you don't. It's actually the classy thing to do. You don't want to waste the kid's prime years rebuilding over and over again. So you have a bunch of first-round picks. Trade Rondo for somebody that either helps you a little bit, but gives you some, first-round draft picks or maybe another second-round draft pick. Get him going in his direction, and then start over, and then hopefully, with some of these young kids, either get a chip to get somebody new or start with the youngins.
Yeah, I mean that's all they really can do. I mean, there was that little ray of hope that Kevin Love was coming here.
It's not dead yet.
Oh, it's dead. Come on, it's not going to happen.
Well, just because LeBron said it was dead doesn't mean it's dead. Although maybe it does.
Yeah, maybe it does. LeBron wants him to Cleveland. The Golden State Warriors want him, and they can offer more than the Celtics can.
Is that true? I mean, I thought the packages were pretty similar.
No, from what I'm hearing, the Golden State package is much better than ours.
It's a bigger package.
It's a bigger, stronger package.
Oh, yeah.
We shouldn't do that again. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, it'll be a weekly bit. Don't worry about it. So the Celtics.
No, I don't want to talk about the Celtics anymore.
All right, let's move on. I mean, really, it's the sports section is supposed to be just sort of a headlines thing, but the All-Star break, the All-Star game just happened for the.
What do you think about Adam Wainwright admitting to grooving a pitch to Derek Jeter?
Dude, just don't admit it.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
just don't admit it. Like, it's been happening for years.
I know.
It's been happening
why
for generations.
Why would you admit it? I mean, you did it. Fine, great.
And then have the cojones to stand by it if you're going to tweet it. I mean, that's the problem with social media. Everyone's got bigger balls on Twitter and Facebook than they do in real life.
That's true.
So, we have these big balls, and everyone loves big balls. You tweet or Facebook something that's pretty aggressive or pretty outrageous, pretty, sometimes even against the grain of social norms. People read it, and then you got to answer to it. And then it's amazing how 90% of people do a lot of tap dancing and backpedaling once that they have to answer something they've written on Twitter.
Tap dancing, backpedaling, deleting of tweets, all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah. And once it's on the internet, it's there, baby. There's nowhere else to go.
No, I mean, delete that thing 5 seconds after you make it. Someone still read it, someone still screen capped it, and it's going to be all over the place, and it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, so
it's the world we live in now. Nothing is secret.
You be smart about what you tweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Yeah, I don't understand half the tweets that I see from these, athletes or celebrities. It's like, why would you tweet such a thing? It makes no sense.
It's interesting because personally, I don't follow Twitter to follow professionals or celebrities. It's really not something I care about. However, you can get really up-to-date news information from Twitter feeds.
That's true.
Facebook's not as accurate or as quick, but in Twitter, you can get news as tragic as a lot of it seems to be very fast. And then the celebrities and the athletes, it's interesting to see what their points of view are. But at the end of the day, Twitter's for news for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's basically the speed of your thumbs. I mean, how fast can you type that out and tweet it out? I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's instantaneous news. Is what it is. It's just like it happened. Now we know about it, and then it's just the way. It's interesting. It can backfire sometimes, but it's interesting what can be put out there.
Yay, Twitter.
Yay, Twitter.
So, yeah, Wainwright stepped in it. Good for him. Just don't admit it. It's that simple. And if you are going to tweet something, have some cojones and stand by it and tell the sports reporter that, yeah, I said it. Now what? But I know the world we live in. It doesn't work that way.
So now we're heading into the second half of the season. The Red Sox are not doing so good.
Oh, they're selling.
They're not going to sell.
Oh, sell. Get rid of Lester. Tell him to hit the road.
Lester. They're going to offer him.
Peavy, see you later. Gomes.
That might happen.
Gomes, go find the lucky pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
No one's going to.
Yeah, but these are guys that aren't necessary. And actually, if they had some more big cojones, you'd tell Big Papi, see you later.
No.
Oh yeah, because
he's still productive. Why would you get rid of him?
Because you're a seller at this point. You're not
a seller. They're not a seller.
You're not very good.
No, they're
You're
not very
gone
good.
with the youth movement. Papi could have. Papi could be real Papi to some of these kids that are out there right now, and you send him to Baltimore.
Why would you send him to a rival?
Because he's only going to play another year or two.
No, that's ridiculous.
Baltimore's best.
That's just it's stupid. You don't send your best hitter to your rival.
Sure you do. Well,
no, you don't.
He has to go to an American League team because that's always useful.
There are plenty of other American League teams that don't play in the American League East. There's plenty.
How many?
A lot.
Well,
Somewhere in the teens.
Who would you send him to?
I don't know. I wouldn't send him anywhere. He's still productive enough to be because we're not sellers. No matter what you say, we're not sellers. We're not far enough back. We're 9.5 games back.
We're pretty far back.
We're 9.5 games back. But what it comes down to is that the AL East sucks from top to bottom. No one's good. No one's running away with this thing.
You might have a point there, but
you have the Yankees, who 4 out of 5 of their starters are injured, and their hitting sucks. I mean, they just don't have it.
Yeah, but they hit like we do.
Yeah. So
except we have Papi. We can give them Papi.
No.
And then take their best player, their best prospect, I meant, and then we could.
No one's going to give you a best prospect for Papi.
Sure, they will. If you
they won't.
Think about this. If you have a legit opportunity for the World Series, and you know as well as I that it's a win now league. What have you done for me lately, league? It used to be only the NBA was like that, and football was like that, but baseball's now like that. People are mildly upset about the Red Sox. Dude, they won 3 World Series in the last 10 years.
True.
Prior to that, we're talking 84 years. This is
86, but
whatever, bonus. So you can't be complaining about that.
No one's complaining. Well, everyone's complaining, but no one's complaining about...
That's because that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do.
No one's complaining about the lack of World Series. We won the World Series last year. I mean, it's fine. But we went from worst to first, back to worst. There's a little bit of just like, I don't like this, where this is going. But you can't, we're not selling.
Well, the pattern looks pretty cool. I mean, if next year will be pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, we're going to win it again.
We're back in.
But no, we're not selling, at least not yet. We're not getting rid of Lester. That's just not going to happen.
That's so happening.
If we lose him, we're not going to trade him. we're just gonna lose him because we're.
But that's bad news.
It is bad news
because if
but they think they're gonna still be able to sign him.
right, but if you read the tea leaves and you see that you're going to lose him, get something for him. Don't just let him go for free agency.
They don't see that. Neither do I, for that matter. He wants to be here. He's come out and said he wants to be here, much to his agent's chagrin. But
Chagrin.
It's a great word.
It is.
He's said he doesn't like change. He wants to stay in Boston.
Does he fear change?
He does fear change.
Oh no.
Especially quarters. But he just wants to stay in Boston, which is why Boston's like, well, maybe he'll take the 4 and the 70. No, that's not.
Yeah, that was a bad opening number, but that's why I think he's going to leave. Because
no, he's not going to
leave.
leave.
They leaked that information. That wasn't cool.
Who did?
Lester's camp. They leaked
Yeah,
that. They
well,
got lowballed.
Yeah, the Red Sox kind of deserved it on that one.
Yeah, I suppose. But if you have real interest in staying with the program, you're not going to leak that information.
Well, he didn't leak it. His people did.
Oh, well, somebody. I mean, we don't. There's not individual people in these situations anymore. There's camps. That's the Lester camp. He's
Fine.
a part of that camp that has occurred. They let that information out, and now it looks like he doesn't want to do business with Boston.
That's not true.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. They're going to come out with a decent number. I would say somewhere around in the neighborhood of 5 years, $125, $130 million. And he'll take it. I mean, it'll just be a no-brainer for him. He'll take it. He wants to stay here. He'll stay here until he's 35, 36, and then he'll be done.
Yeah, but do you give a long-term $100 million plus contract to someone who's 30 years old?
Yeah.
No, you
He's
don't.
in the middle of his prime. He's smack dab in the middle of his prime.
But by the end of that contract, he's going to be worth diddly squad.
That's why you front-load the contract.
Well,
You front-load the contract. You front-load the first 3 years of that contract with
and then
most of the money.
you hope that he ends up like Lackey pitching for $500,000.
No, you don't. You give him. I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of $30 million for the first 3 years, and then the last 2 years will be around 15 or 14 or something like that. He'll pitch for $15 or $14 million in those last 2 years.
That's a lot of money for a pitcher who's at the end of his career who can't throw above 80.
He throws 95.
But he won't throw 95 when he's 37.
Yeah, but he won't throw 80 either. He'll throw probably 90, 89 maybe.
Mid-80s.
No, he's not going to throw mid-80s.
He's going to throw mid-80s. His changeup's going to look like a knuckleball from Tim Wakefield at the end of his career.
Someone has a little bit of a pessimistic
And there's
attitude.
going to be lasers being shot out into the Fenway. There's going to be holes in the monster of how hard they're going to hit the
this
ball.
is what you sign up for. This is why you give him the big money. You get 3 years of really good John Lester and 2 years of okay John Lester. And if he gets lit up, he gets lit up. You kind of live with it.
You just take it.
You just take it. You just take it. You bend over and you take it.
Oh,
It's just the way it goes.
wow. Yeesh. All right, let's go on to another sport
All right.
and clean this up a little bit towards, and then we'll move on to some entertainment news, which will be probably very enlightening. So we're talking Patriots football. We're talking the sport that everybody loves, the NFL.
I
Except my
wouldn't say
wife. My
everybody.
wife doesn't like the NFL, but everyone else does. It's easily the number one ranked TV program.
Obviously.
And we have one of the better teams in the country.
That's also true.
And our nemesis is going to be those New York Jets again,
As it should be.
and the top dog is Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean, Seattle is, well, when they're not all hopped up on Adderall, they're actually a pretty good team.
Dude, Adderall does a lot of good things. I've heard good things.
Yes, you heard the good things. Good things. It gives you a Super Bowl, apparently.
Well, there's a connection there. John. Is it Carroll? John?
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
Pete
Pete Carroll
Carroll.
coached the Patriots for a couple of years.
And did nothing with them.
There was no Adderall.
No, there's no Adderall around.
I mean, there was cortisone shots, but there was no Adderall.
No, there's no Adderall. So they kind of just went nowhere for 2 years. 2, 3 years? Is that
Yeah,
right?
and then the tuna was hired in, and then
Yeah.
things started moving. Or was it the other way around? Was tuna
No, it was
first?
Tuna
Carroll
first and
second?
John Carroll.
See, I
Now
did the same
now you
thing.
got me doing it. Thanks, you jackass.
Well, you start talking, the mouth starts moving, and then the brain doesn't catch up, and next thing you know,
You're saying stupid stuff and you have to backpedal like on Twitter,
yeah, well, my mouth is a version of Twitter, apparently.
apparently. But no, you have Pete Carroll for a couple of years. Then you got, in Bill we trust, Bill Belichick. And,
which is proven true.
Yeah, I mean,
As long as he's not knowing that Aaron Hernandez is killing people via tweets.
It's true.
Or not tweets, text messages.
Text messages, yeah.
33 pages of it, by the way.
33 pages of text messages between, apparently, Bill Belichick, who I don't know if he's able to string together more than 10 words at a time, and Aaron Hernandez, who's supposedly scared for his life.
Well, first off, let me just stop you there. Bill Belichick does not have to string words together. It's all about thumbs. His thumbs might be electric. We don't know that. We don't know what kind of thumbs he has. We don't know what kind of thumb exercises he does. He might have one of the most dynamic thumbs in the business. And when it comes to texting, it might be beautiful.
So 33 pages of text with Aaron Hernandez.
Well, as long
33 pages.
Yeah, which, I believe the brothers on WEI came up with. It's like 400 text messages in 33 pages. And
it was like the span of like a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff being said. As long as they don't find one that says, "Get to the safe house now."
Well, no, I mean, it was a couple of months. It was like from February to March or April or something like that. And it was, what, 2-3 months before the Odin Lloyd murder and a year after the double homicide in Florida. Was it Florida? No, it wasn't Florida.
I thought it was in Massachusetts.
No, it was in Massachusetts. There was something down in Florida that he did too.
Well, I mean, Florida's a bad town.
Well, yeah, Florida's a bad town. I mean,
bad things happen down there. There's
Yeah.
weird stuff. There's crocodiles. There's
people's eyes get shut out.
Yeah, I mean,
things happen.
when we think about the bath salt incident, Florida. I mean, it was Florida.
Yeah, it always seems to happen in Florida.
Yeah.
Weird stuff happens in Florida.
So
Anyway,
yeah, I mean, obviously, Aaron Hernandez was peddling bath salt.
though that kind of goes without saying,
Right.
I guess.
Right.
No, in the end, I think it'll turn out to be nothing.
Can you, again, this topic's been broached by many podcasters and radio hosts, but it would be very, very interesting to see Bill Belichick on the stand for Aaron Hernandez's murder trial.
Yeah.
What did you see and when did you see it? Well, I just worry about the players that I coach. That's it. I don't worry about anybody else.
Mr. Belichick, where were you at the time of when Aaron Hernandez was supposedly murdering Odin Lloyd? Well, we have to coach better and we have to play better and we just have to, do everything better. Bill, that's not what I asked. Where were you the night of Odin Lloyd's murder?
We don't talk about injuries. We actually, that's up to the player and what the player wants to do. And, Tom and I will get together and we'll figure out a game plan for what's going to go down. Yeah, it would be very, regardless of what he says or how he says it, all jokes aside, it'd be captivating theater to see what Bill Belichick says on the stand.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to knowing what those tweets were all about. Not tweets, I'm sorry, texts were all about.
What if it's something weird? Like, I don't want to go the sexual route, but what if it was like, hey, what are you getting your kid for your birthday? And do you think My Little Pony works? Or, something bizarro land,
I don't see that happening. But it would certainly shine a light where I never wanted it to shine. But yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. In all likelihood, it's all football related.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, there's nothing else I could possibly see. It's like, hey, that's all I got.
Are you working out? Are you doing your work? Do you have a 9mm handgun?
Do you have a gun?
Did you buy enough ammo?
Don't turn it over to the police. No, don't do that.
Get to the safe house.
Get to the safe house. Go down to Franklin.
Gosh. That Odin Lloyd tried out.
Odin Lloyd was so good he was going to take the place of one of Belichick's favorite players.
Now, first off, before we continue down this joke path, it is a tragedy that Mr. Lloyd lost his life.
Of
and,
course.
we definitely feel bad about
Yes.
that. But, oh, man. I mean, really? Really? This is where our top tight end ends up in jail?
Top tight end?
Oh, Gronk can't play. He's hurt all the time.
That's true.
When he's not hurt, he's dancing at nightclubs.
Even when he is hurt, he's dancing at nightclubs.
Oh, that's true. So nightclubs win there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's enough of sports. I mean, a lot of people don't like sports. We like sports
We
a
like
little bit,
sports.
and we like
I
to
like
talk
sports a
about
lot.
it. And as we do this podcast more and more, we'll actually set up a nice little structure so we can get a lot of the headlines in and then go off on our tangents. So now, Eric, entertainment.
Entertainment.
The segment that I wanted to call "All the Poo That Isn't Doctor Who," because we are Doctor Who fans.
We are quite the big Doctor Who fans. Whovians, as the term goes.
I feel uncomfortable being called a Whovian.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just, I like the show quite a bit. I have a lunchbox, a Doctor Who lunchbox that I use daily in my work, but I don't feel comfortable being called a Whovian.
Well, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's just what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels almost too geeky for me. Like I can't go that far.
Can't do it, huh? Can't do it?
I love the show. I'm a giant fan, although I have changed doctors lately.
Oh yeah, you have a new favorite now, which
I do.
Which is weird.
Well, first
People
off,
don't
a little
usually
background.
change.
A little background. Doctor Who was a program that was on in the 70s,
60s.
60s and 70s.
Started in November 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there in 1963.
And they developed this situation where the lead character would play the Doctor, and the lead character would last for a certain number of years and then die or quote-unquote regenerate, and then a new person would take on the role.
Well, originally that wasn't supposed to. I mean, it was just a show, a science fiction show that was had to do with this guy who had this granddaughter, and they apparently lived in a police call box.
Like bums.
Yeah, and it wasn't originally. What it comes right down to, someone thought up the idea of regeneration when William Hartnell, who played
The original
Doctor, when he was in poor health. He was relatively older. Well, I mean, he was 55 when he took the role. He was on it for 4 or so years. Was in declining health even when he took the job, and they decided to.
Are you setting phasers to stun?
Yes, phasers are to stun. Anyway, I meant to switch that to silent. I'm going to do that now.
That's a good choice because we're talking Doctor Who now.
Talking Doctor Who stuff here, but no, he was in failing health, and the show was doing so well that they couldn't just end it. So they decided to go. I mean, he's an alien. Why not? So they came up with this idea that he would, when he's at the point of death, he could regenerate. Every cell in his body would regenerate completely, and he would become a new person. And therefore, you can get a new actor to play. And the second actor was Peter Troughton, I believe.
Troughton, yeah.
And I think actually Peter Troughton was handpicked by Hartnell himself to replace him, if I remember correctly. And that's gone on through the years. There have been a grand total of 1, 2, 3.
13, right?
Well, yes.
13 doctors. It's considered.
Well, no, the numbering doesn't change because of the 50th anniversary. There's still only 12 doctors. There is the War Doctor who didn't actually call himself the Doctor during the Time War.
Yeah, but that's details. But my point is that it's
all about the details. What the hell's wrong with you?
It's a very honorable role. It's a
Yes.
role that once you get it, you make news, and it goes on. And it goes everywhere.
Yeah, it's the kind of role that once you get it, you're
cemented. You're always going to be a doctor.
You're in a very exclusive club that only 13 other people have played, and beloved by millions of people. It's just the way it goes.
Now, there were troubled times in the show, and I know we're doing a pretty decent backtrack of it, so hang with us here. But there were problems with the show around, I want to say, the 8th Doctor. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, no, it was the 7th Doctor. The quality of writing had been going downhill throughout the 80s.
It just wasn't going well. And
no, I mean,
they spent money in wrong places, so the props were really bad.
And the overall quality wasn't very good, and it was going downhill. And after, let's see, I want to say it was 63 to 88 or 89, around 1989, they decided to end it. And they just ended it. They didn't give it a send-off or anything. They just ended it.
And then there was sort of a weird little movie that followed.
Well, yeah, they
tried to bring it back a little bit.
In 1994, 95, they wanted to try and get Doctor Who popular in North America. So Canada, in their infinite wisdom,
they're always smart over there.
of course they are.
Yes.
They decided to film a TV movie starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. They even had the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, in the beginning, and he regenerated into Paul McGann. There have been a lot of talk ever since then if Paul McGann was actually canon, if he was actually the 8th Doctor.
Just a memory, a dream.
No, it was just like something they were wondering if...
Hasn't he done a lot of book stuff, though? Paul
He's
McGann?
done a lot of radio stuff.
Radio, yeah.
I
mean, audiobook type stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the older Doctors have done radio stuff. I mean, Tom Baker's done stuff. Colin Baker's done stuff. Paul McGann's done a lot of stuff.
So he has to be canon if he does that much stuff.
I mean, even the radio stuff wasn't sure to be canonized as Doctor Who stuff up until the relaunch in 2005.
Which is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, I mean, he was eventually... Like, people were wondering, when the relaunch was announced for 2005, one of the big questions was, what number Doctor is this going to be? Is it going to be that
Eighth?
Paul McGann didn't really happen? Like, they were just going to forget about it?
Oh, he happened.
Well, he did obviously happen, but like, were they just going to forget about it and call the next Doctor the 8th Doctor, or was it going to be the 9th Doctor? It turned out to be the 9th Doctor. They canonized Paul McGann. They did conveniently forget some stuff that happened in the movie.
That's okay. Movie magic can be forgotten.
Yeah, you can forget a movie. You can forget a major plot point that the Doctor was half human.
That's right.
You don't really need to know that.
No, it was a nomenclature that was mistaken.
Yes,
and,
it was.
And sometimes that happens in this world, and mistakes are made, and we move on.
Yes, we move on.
But my point, Eric.
Yeah.
My point is that most people have a favorite doctor, a doctor that they like the most. It's called, and they say, that's my doctor.
It's usually the Doctor you start with.
The doctor
Usually.
that gets you into the show. That's
Yeah.
right. Now, the doctor that got me into the show was the 9th Doctor. Mm-hmm. And his name was?
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston. Eccleston was also known for one of the Die Hard movies. And, no, it wasn't Die Hard. It was...
He wasn't a Die Hard.
It was Gone in 60 Seconds.
He was the villain in Gone in 60 Seconds. He was also the villain in Thor 2. All covered in prosthetics.
Yeah, he was way better in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Well,
but anyway.
he's just a good actor in general. He
Right.
was in one of my favorite movies, which I can't remember the name of.
You love that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's 28 Days Later. Yeah, 28 Days Later.
Oh, he's in that?
Yeah, he was
I didn't
the
know that.
leader of the army platoon that was held up in that mansion house.
Oh yeah. I didn't remember that. Anyway, so Eccleston was my first doctor. That's who got me into the show. Mm-hmm. And then Eric conveniently told me and guided me and suggested to me that the 10th Doctor was going to be my doctor. So he kind of pushed me that direction. He kind of said, all right, here's what you're going to do. And I was just a child in the Who universe. I didn't know any
All right,
better.
I'm going to have to stop you right there.
And David Tennant, who was the 10th Doctor.
No, stop. I want you to stop right there. I don't recall any of that.
Of course you don't.
No, I don't recall pushing you to do anything.
Oh, Eric, I remember the conversation like it was yesterday.
Of course you do.
Yes, of
No,
course.
go ahead. No, I want you to tell me what I said.
Oh, perfect. I said, you know what? I just watched the 9th Doctor, that whole season. How many was there? How many seasons?
12 or 13.
12 or 13 episodes. I said, I love him. That's the guy. And Eric looked me dead in my eyes and said, well, the 10th Doctor is way better. And you know what? I bet you,
All right.
once you see that doctor, you're going to think that the 10th Doctor is your doctor.
I don't recall saying
And
the second part. I don't recall saying
And
the
I
second
told him to go screw, but he was right for a while. Like I remember watching the 10th Doctor do his work. David Tennant, who is one of the most popular doctors ever to play the role.
He is second only to Tom Baker.
Right. And I remember watching it, and I liked a lot of the stuff. There's about 5 or 6 episodes that were drop dead outstanding, just outstanding. Blink is the one everyone talks about.
Blink is a lot of people's go-to for new watchers. Like if someone asks, like, "Oh, should I watch this show?" Oh, watch Blink. And I've done that too. I admit I've done that too.
I did that with my wife.
I don't think that's the right episode to start with. Honestly, I think you start at the beginning. You start at Rose, season 1, episode 1, season 1 of the relaunch.
As I've heard a great XWEI sports broadcaster say, "You're making my point."
You're making my point. But it doesn't make Eccleston a better doctor than Tennant.
Think of it this way. The show was outski. We had a crappy movie. And who did they go to bring the show back into popularity? They brought in Eccleston.
No, stop. I want you to stop. You asked me who did they go to bring it back into popularity. They went to Russell T Davies. That's who they went to. Russell went to Chris.
Russell wasn't the doctor.
Russell wrote a lot of the episodes, and
he
brought
did
back the series.
And that's when the series was very, very good. Because one of the things, and you remember this conversation, I'm sure, I said that one of the reasons I like the Doctor Who revamp is because it's real. People are going. Some people live, some people die. That's what life is.
Yeah, that's true.
And, it was real to me. It was like watching real life. It was like actually, every show that I watched prior to that, with some exceptions, like I liked Battlestar Galactica, and I liked, I like some other stuff. Dexter was pretty fun for a while, even though Dexter sort of fell off the map. But they all had a pattern. There was a pattern that you could read, and it wasn't until shows, quite frankly, like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, where those patterns were sort of shattered. But Doctor Who was the first one that shattered it for me, and especially with that 9th season with the 9th Doctor.
I mean, the first season with the 9th Doctor.
Yes,
yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm watching the 9th Doctor do his business. He brings popularity back. David Tennant makes it go crazy. I mean, he explodes under Tennant. However, Tennant, let's just say it. He went away like a bitch. He went away contrary to what his character was really all about.
This is because of what I said, isn't it?
It's part of it. I've been listening to some other podcasts, and I don't want to break ground that they've already broken, because we're just a fledgling podcast, and we just we stand on the shoulders of others that have come before us. However,
well, we all have our own opinions. We're allowed to speak our opinions however we want to speak them. When it comes to David Tennant's coup de grace,
like a bitch.
No, you know what? He stood tall. He took it. The only problem I had was the last line. That was the only problem.
No, Eric. My eyes have been opened.
Your eyes have been opened.
My eyes have been opened, all right, sir.
I want you to tell me how your eyes have been opened.
They've been opened, and here's why. Because not only was the last line tough, not only was the last line very, very wimpy, he goes on a self-centered glory ride because he doesn't want to go. And it's been very clear for many, many generations of Doctor Who that he knows he's not going to die. He knows he's regenerating. It's part of the gig.
I think that was part of the mistake. I think that was really part of their mistake.
Now, I'll give you this. We don't know what's going on in Tennant's head when it's happening. We don't know if he thinks this is a good move or a bad move. For all we know, he's been given crap to work with, and he's just doing the best he can with it.
It's possible. I think where they went wrong, they had, leading up to the final episode, they had been doing this thing where a prophecy was sent out that he was going to die. Not just regenerate, he was going to die. And they had that feeling. He was angry. He was bitter that he was going to die. He was scared that he was going to die. So when it came down to the fact that he was not going to die, he was simply going to regenerate, the mood didn't change. It was still, oh, he's going to die. And he thinks he's going to die. He's still bitter. He's still scared and still all that. But he really shouldn't have been. I could have understood if he had been pissed off. Because I love that scene where he, where Wilf is stuck in the little room there and it's about to fill with radiation. And that's when you hear the four knocks. And it's a beautiful scene where he has survived this big thing with the Time Lords coming back and the Master coming back. It's just like this big thing. He survived it, and he's there on the floor, shocked. There on the floor, shocked that he's survived it all. And he's like, even he laughs a little. And then you hear those four knocks, and you see his face turn, just from being so elated to being utterly horrified.
Right, and that's where some of the problems come in.
No, I don't think so. I think the problems don't come in for me. And even they're not even full-blown problems. It's just little
But he's the doctor, and he's
Yeah.
supposed to be, even if he's saving one, it's important to him. And when the knocks happen, he looks over, and then it's like,
No, that's not what happens.
I knew I'm going to get killed by you. I knew this was going to happen. Son of a gun.
No, that's not what happens. He gets angry, true. But he doesn't get, of course, there's never a question. There's never a question ever.
But think about how 11 goes. 11 goes to a dumpy little planet and protects a bunch of, a little town that brings nothing to the table. And as he ages and just keeps going further and further, he understands that he can't leave. And he understands that it's his job to protect these people. And it's beautiful in the sense that no matter how powerful the doctor is, at the end of the day, if he can save even the little dumpiest town, he does it. But
True.
The one dude that knocks 4 times and Tennant's like, son of a bitch, I gotta die now because you couldn't get out of there.
But that's not how he acted.
It seemed like it to me.
No, he was angry. He wasn't angry at Wilf. There were angry words shouted at Wilf, but he was never angry at Wilf. I never took it that way, at least for me. It was always that he was just angry at the situation. He was angry, I guess, at the universe that this is happening.
So again, we're going into a lot of stuff that you have to be a Whovian to sort of understand. But my point is that the savior of the show, the guy who got it all started, and the dude who was the toughest SOB to be the doctor was Chris Eccleston. And now that's my doctor, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
Nah, my guy's Tennant. It'll always be Tennant. The guy was amazing.
I loved him as an actor. Don't get me wrong. Tennant's great, but
I think from beginning to almost the very, very end, like I said, I had no problem up until the last line. Even after the last line is uttered, I actually thank you, Stephen Moffat, because
Stephen Moffat, where nobody ever dies.
No, people have died.
A
lot of people have died in his stuff. They just come back.
no main character is truly finished.
No, never. It's true, but no, I mean, I can actually think that the last line means something else now because of the last line, because of the 50th anniversary. I thought that was so well. The
50th was really good, really, really good.
And I loved how he put that "I don't want to go" line as Tennant's last line again before his character's departure.
Right.
And I think it's such a really... It makes me think of the line differently, as well as before. It was just like, you're not dying. You're upset, I get it. You're in pain, I get it. Because it's not like he's, he's dying, but it's not like this is happening it's not just like, oh, it's painless, but his body's breaking down. He's dying of radiation poisoning, which is extremely painful. And
I was hoping for a gunshot, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah. Actually, I think that's if I never actually saw the movie, but I think that's how the Seventh Doctor went. I think he was shot, but I can't really remember.
So anyway, I mean that's my reasoning for the Switch, and
Well, I think it's a bad reason.
yeah, that's fine. You think many things I do are bad. So now changing gears completely. Movies. Movies to watch.
Movies to watch. A lot of movies out there that are movies to watch. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, first off, the movie that I love right now is the Lego Movie.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
It's fantastic. Definitely should go see it. It's clever. It's well done. Your kids will like it. You should have some kids, Eric.
We're editing that at hard.
No,
out.
that's not it. That's staying in there.
We're-
That's for our mother right there. That when mom listens to this, or dad, or Kyle, they're gonna go, "Ooh, Scott got that in."
Major edits coming. Major edits.
But yeah, the Lego movies, it's really cool, and you end up with a really good feeling, and you actually, remember we'll circle back to all that news and how we need some hope. The Lego movie it provides some hope. But what's a good flick that's on your radar?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of movies these days. I watch.
Netflix sort of has killed the movie industry.
Yeah, well, no, they've killed the video rental industry. That's dead. No, I've been watching mostly TV lately. But let's see, movies. I don't know. I'm looking forward to some of the Marvel movies coming out. Not so much Ant-Man, but Avengers 2 should be really good. Not sure about this Batman versus Superman thing.
You mean Batfleck?
Batfleck? Oh, man. Poor Ben. I actually like Ben Affleck. I think he's going to actually do a decent job.
Yeah, you and Kevin Smith are the only people that believe that.
I know. It's quite sad. But no, I think he'll do it. I think he'll be better than George Clooney. Let's put it that way. And Val Kilmer, for that matter.
I mean, is it fair to say that I could be better than both those two as Batman?
Yes.
All right, good. Because I would love to don the cape and the nippled breastplate.
Really? You want the nipple suit? That's what you want to go with?
Why not? I mean, if it exists.
Come on.
I mean, I bet you $10 the original Batman would want the nipple suit.
No, I don't think so. I don't care. No.
I mean, those nipples might come in handy.
How?
It ricochets a bullet off a different direction. That bullet actually ricochets off and goes into an actual villain and helps save the queen. I don't know.
The Queen?
Yeah, well, Leslie Nielsen sort of popped into my head at that point. And I figured, we all got to save the queen at some point.
We all have to save the Queen, and he does it on 2 separate occasions.
He does, doesn't he?
He does.
As Enrico Palazzo.
Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo. Yeah, I miss.
Oh,
I
the
miss
Naked
Leslie
Gun. So good.
But no, I'm trying to think of movies
Well,
that I'm really interested in. I wanted to see Godzilla, never got around to it.
I heard it's really good.
I heard it's good too. Bryan Cranston stars. It's his first movie off of Breaking Bad.
I like Bryan Cranston.
So do I. I actually have not seen one episode of Breaking Bad, but it's on my list of things that I'm going to watch.
Breaking Bad is amazing. I mean, I cheated through most of it, but I watched the final season.
You're a cheater?
I am a cheater. I just didn't have the time to get into it because I was really into Dexter at the time. And but
One or the other did it?
But that's not really the reason I like Bryan Cranston, not his work as Heisenberg. The reason I like him is that he is a fanboy's dream. You meet Bryan Cranston anywhere and ask him to do something, there's a good chance he's going to do it.
That's true.
My favorite thus far was that a kid, 16, 17-year-old, was trying to ask out someone to the prom. And he was at
I heard about that. He went into character, didn't he?
It was awesome. He asked him to help him ask this girl to go to the prom. And
He breaks into Heisenberg, doesn't he?
he does. He comes in and he goes, look, I think the name, I don't know the name. We'll say it's Patty. And he says, Patty, you should go to the prom with Jake here. And if you don't, I would tread lightly going forward. And you just sit there and go, yes. And I think Patty went with Jake. We're assuming that occurred.
I would assume so. Yeah.
But I mean, that's just awesome when you have a guy that'll play up. Because that's annoying. I always thought that as a famous actor or actress in roles that involve a lot of geekdom, and yes, I'm sort of admitting I'm a geek.
No shame in that.
It's got to be annoying that everyone asks you for stuff all the time.
Yeah, I would think so. And people respond to it in different ways. Most people I've heard of are pretty cool about it. Bryan Cranston, for instance. Nathan Fillion does a lot of stuff. But then I don't know this for sure because I've never heard of any stories. But the guy and this is kind of going back to a Doctor Who thing, which is, super geek.
Sure. But
a guy who strikes me as someone who wouldn't do that kind of stuff is Christopher Eccleston. He's just not that. I'm not saying he's an asshole or anything. He's just not that kind of guy.
He doesn't want to be typecast either.
Well, that's true, which is kind of stupid.
Which he didn't do his homework. If you're going to be a Doctor Who, you're
typecast.
You're sort of stuck. Although to be fair, out of all the Doctor Who's that have played the role, he's been the least typecast. He's done quite a good job.
He's done a bunch of stuff, but I mean, you're foolish if you think if you're going to go into this role and say, I'm just going to do this for a year and be done with it.
Yeah, it's like playing a role in one of the Star Wars movies. You're stuck.
I mean, that's what you'll be known for forever. I mean, we know him as the villain to this movie, the villain to that movie, but in the end, he was the Ninth Doctor. That's how I know him. I mean, that's just it.
Iconic movies and iconic shows lead to that type of stuff. For example, you look at Bruce Willis, it's always John McClane. You look at Harrison Ford, it's Han Solo.
Han Solo, he got lucky. He got to dip in that well twice. He got Han Solo and he got Indiana Jones. So I mean, he was lucky in that regard. You have someone like I don't know, who else?
Well, I was going to say, Jay and Silent Bob, they'll never be anybody different.
No. Because I don't think they've ever played other roles.
Well, that's not true. Jay's played a couple of roles.
Yeah, and so has Kevin. Kevin's done. He was in one of the Die Hard movies, but in the end, he was always just Jay and Silent Bob. That's who they are. But no, it's. I forgot where we were. What were we talking about? What are we talking about?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, people.
No, I don't think Eric's on cocaine, but if he does, he better share. So, yeah, the typecasting thing. I think Eccleston really has avoided that.
He's avoided it to a large degree by doing movies that nobody watches.
I'm going to be so famous, I'm going to do crappy movies and you'll never remember me.
I mean, and even when he is in a blockbuster movie like Thor 2, you don't recognize him because he's covered in prosthetics. Nobody knew he was in that movie. He's like, oh, look, it's Christopher Eccleston. Where is he? Oh, that was him? Oh, weird. He's either you either see him and...
Yeah, but I think his demeanor as an actor is really very similar to those that are chameleons that can play a little bit of everything.
Sure. And he's also a very serious guy, at least from what I can see. He's not one to repeat himself, which is... I think part of the reason why he didn't come back to Doctor Who. He didn't want to repeat himself. He's not one to do sequels. I say that he doesn't want to do sequels of stuff that he's already done. So like something like he can do Thor 2 because he didn't do Thor 1.
So no Thor 3.
No, we're not going
where he's Mighty Thor.
He's the Mighty Thor. That's some new news. Thor is now going to be a girl.
What?
Yeah, Marvel just came out.
No. Thor is of our people. No.
This is the comic book Thor. Not the Norse god Thor.
Thor is not... I mean...
In the comic books, Marvel has announced... I don't know the backstory. I read something briefly. It was something about the original Thor. Something happens to him. And
nothing happens to Thor. He's the god of thunder.
Well, I don't know. I don't know this. All I know is that in the end... Thor's hammer goes to a woman, and she is the new Thor.
Well, is the old Thor all right?
I don't know. I really don't know.
He's our hero.
He's a hero.
He's our hero.
And
Dude.
we also have a new Captain America coming.
Well, that's cool, but what about Thor?
I don't know, dude. Seriously.
Swedish, Viking,
Yeah,
Thor.
well-
No, Thor can't. I was kind of ticked off when SG-1 made Thor a little green guy. Like that didn't go.
He was gray, actually.
Whatever. It didn't roll. Well, colorblind, dude. Think about it. But it didn't roll with me.
He was gray, actually. Let's just
It didn't roll with me. And they made Thor. I mean, he was a good character. He was a cool guy. He helped out, did some cool stuff.
Well,
turns out he was a giant clone. But whatever.
Well, they're all clones. The Asgard are all clones. Man.
So I was a little ticked off at that. But you can't lose Thor.
Well, you're not going to lose him in the movies. It's still going to be.
You're darn right we're not, because Thor is the man. Thor gets a raw deal. I mean, everyone thinks about Spider-Man, the X-Men, man. Thor's the guy.
Yeah, I guess.
He is. He's the guy.
Good. He's good. I like Thor a lot, but I mean, I just have characters.
Who's the only guy that takes on the Hulk? It's Thor.
Iron Man's done it.
Yeah, and Iron Man's lost.
Yeah.
So is Thor, to be fair. But
Well, yeah, Thor. You don't mess with the Hulk, man. The Hulk just, you don't mess with that.
there's no way to beat him, really.
You just gotta hope to contain him, and even then, it's not gonna happen.
No, you can't. I mean, a lot of people like to think that Superman's in that category, but the epic rap battles of history, who I follow quite a bit, said it really well. Dude, you're allergic to green rocks.
He's allergic to one kind of green rock.
Green rocks put this man on his tail.
Actually,
that's a problem.
He's allergic to radiated pieces of kryptonite, which is all the green. I mean, he's different. There are different colors of kryptonite. There's red, there's blue, there's green. I think there's black, and each thing does something different to him.
Green rocks. Green rocks.
No. Fine.
Green
you know what?
rocks.
Fine. He's allergic to green rocks. You child.
All right. Well, we've dabbled way long overdue in the entertainment field. What's the last one we're going to work on today, Eric?
I think we should end there. Do we really want to talk religion right now?
Well, yes, we should.
Why?
Well, you're the one that wanted to go in this order.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
You're
did.
the one
no,
who said that.
You wanted to do news first. I figured news would be the end.
Really? Really?
And instead, you wanted to flip it. We should have started with religion. Do you see dead people?
No, I see a bug on a light.
Oh, all right. Fair point. So, anyway, what do you think of the Pope?
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he?
Right.
I love his new thing where he's come out and said, look, it's typical, and, forgive me, it's typical Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton style here, where he's going, look, mistakes were made. We're going to try to do better here. We're going to find the priests that were molesting children. We're going to get them out of there. And that's all.
Now I can only hear that in Bill Clinton's voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well.
And that's all you can ask for. I mean, that's really, the problem with the Catholic Church. I mean, Catholic Church has many problems because, quite frankly, the world's changing and religion's becoming a dynamic that's not necessarily very powerful right now. But I think a lot of people go back to God, which... whatever, it's their choice. But no matter what, you can't have priests doing bad things to people.
Can't have well, you know what? I have nothing to say on the matter.
No.
I don't. If we're going to do this again, then religion has to be an early topic because...
Well, that's what I wanted to do, man.
Hey, we could have done this in any sort of order.
No, I asked you, and you chose to go a different
I chose to go with news first. I didn't say news, sports, entertainment, then religion. I didn't say that.
What did you
say?
What did you say? What did you say?
I said let's do news first because we can only go up from there. I figured the next step would be religion.
What? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, new pope, like him.
New pope, good guy.
We'll go
so
with
far.
It. So far, keep our fingers crossed.
Keeping the fingers crossed. You don't know whatever. Better than the last guy.
Better than the last guy. So, we're concluding here, sir.
Yeah.
Did you have a good first outing?
Yeah. Don't know what else we're going to talk about.
It'll change every week.
Hope so.
And as we get better at this and we get more of our feet underneath us, we can change topics and do some other stuff.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right. Well, this was the pilot version of the Empty Room podcast. We thank you for listening. And Eric, you have anything to say? No, he doesn't have anything to say, everybody. Thank you so much, and tune in next week. Empty Room podcast is copyrighted 2014. Music by High Congress.